Why the hero with 1,000 faces?
Well, because there is a certain typical hero sequence of actions, which can be detected in stories from all over the world and from many, many periods of history. And I think it's essentially, you might say, the one deed done by many, many different people.
Why are there so many stories of the hero or of heroes in mythology?
Well, because that's what's worth writing about. A hero properly is someone who has given his life to something bigger than himself or other than himself. It's a cycle. It's a going and a return that the hero cycle represents.
That man being interviewed is Joseph Campbell, a 20th century author and mythologist. Now you may be asking yourself, this video essay is entitled The Hero's Journey. How does this guy have anything to do with that? Well, everything, actually. In 1949, Joseph Campbell published The Hero with 1,000 Faces. In this book, Campbell theorizes that a large majority of protagonists or heroes in stories, both old and modern, follow the same path in their story, the hero's journey. In his own words, in many stories, a hero ventures forth from the world of common day into a region of supernatural wonder. Fabulous forces are there encountered and a decisive victory is won. The hero comes back from this mysterious adventure with the power to bestow boons on his fellow man. The typical hero's journey, over the years, has been condensed in 12 steps. You may have not recognized it, but you definitely watched it. To help me out with this, I've contacted self-proclaimed cinephile and movie scientist, Dr. John Young. Take it away, John.
Hey! Thanks for having me, Griff. So, let's talk about the hero's journey. We keep saying the hero's journey, but we haven't quite looked at what that journey is actually comprised of. Now let's take a deeper look. Join me, shall you? Step 1 of the 12 steps is the ordinary world. In this stage, we are introduced to the hero as they go about their day, doing the same thing they've always done. Think Frodo in the Shire, or Luke Skywalker on the desert planet of Tatooine. Next, the hero receives a call to adventure, or something that persuades them to leave their ordinary world and take a leap of faith to go on an extravagant adventure. Step 3 is the refusal of the call, which is followed by the meeting the mentor. Think Obi-Wan Kenobi, Uncle Ben, Gandalf, and Dumbledore. Now step 5 is one of the most crucial steps a hero can take. Crossing the threshold. The hero has now left their ordinary world and has taken bigger step into the special world. Now, at step 6, the hero will encounter tests, allies, and enemies. From here, the hero will approach the inmost cave. The hero will have to prepare for a major change. The hero will have to get ready for what could be a life or death scenario. Now the 8th step is death and rebirth. The hero will attempt the big change, and if he succeeds, well, he will come out shedding his former self and being reborn as a hero. Step 9 is the reward for his good deeds. Step 10 is the road back to his ordinary world. After that is resurrection, and the final step is the hero's return with the elixir. At this stage, the hero has conquered the problem and is now the master of both worlds. Now, that's a lot, so let's review. The hero leaves his ordinary world, meets a mentor, meets his enemies, his allies, and faces trials. He undergoes transformation before a life or death situation, defeats the problem, and returns back to the ordinary world changed for the better. But enough of me talking about it. Let's see it. To help me further explain the hero's journey, I'll be showing a particular hero's journey. Now, without further ado, here is the magnum opus, the masterpiece, the work of art, the best film from 2001, known as Shrek. Now, we are first introduced to Shrek in his swamp, or the ordinary world. He's a carefree ogre with no worries. Now, Shrek's call to adventure comes after he rescues Donkey, when he discovers that all the fairy tale creatures have been dumped on his swamp by Lord Farquaad.
What are you doing in my swamp?
He then goes to Lord Farquaad, who tells them that in order to get his swamp back, he must rescue Princess Fiona and bring her to him. Step 3 would typically be the refusal of the call, but Shrek actually accepts the call, contradicting the stereotypical hero's journey. Shrek meets his mentor, Donkey. Believe it or not, Donkey teaches Shrek not to be so serious and grumpy all the time. When Shrek crosses the bridge to the castle, he's literally stepping from his ordinary world into a special world. At step 6, the hero is faced with a test, allies, and enemies. Shrek's test is saving the princess, defeating the dragon, and dealing with Donkey. His allies are Donkey and Fiona, and his enemy, of course, is Lord Farquaad. Now Shrek's journey into the innermost cave is his journey into the castle. He is approaching a life or death situation after he rescues Fiona. Death and rebirth. Now that is when the dragon poses a life or death threat to Shrek, but he eventually escapes from the clutches of the dragon and is reborn as a hero as he exits the castle. Shrek's reward comes in the form of Princess Fiona. The road back for Shrek is a tricky one. Now he begins to fall in love with Fiona, but Farquaad wants to marry her. He has to decide whether he simply wants to stay with Fiona or get his swamp back. Shrek's resurrection comes when he crashes Fiona in Farquaad's wedding, proclaiming he loves her. Now, number 12 is Shrek's return with the elixir, and that comes when he comes back home, getting his swamp back with a new wife. He has now conquered both worlds. Now, to a passive viewer, Shrek just seems like a kid's movie. But if you look deeper, it follows the timeless plot of the hero journey. Some other examples. Star Wars. Luke lives on his planet doing his thing, and then the droid comes out of nowhere with a secret message from Princess Leia. From there, he meets his mentor, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and his allies, Han Solo and Chewbacca. Then he rescues the princess and ultimately blows up the Death Star, becoming the master of two worlds. Think of any movie with a hero in it, and see if your favorite heroes follow the hero journey. Well, you'll be surprised how many do. Back to you, Griffin.
Now that you have a pretty good idea of the hero's journey and how it applies to fictional characters in movies, you would think that there is really nothing left to talk about. The great thing about movies is that they stick with us, no matter how young or old we are, no matter who we watch it with, and no matter where we watch it. The reason the heroes we see in these movies stick with us and have such an impact on who we are as people isn't the movie's special effects, it's not its soundtrack, not its location, it's the characters. Because nothing resonates better with us than the characters, and that's why the hero's journey is so important. It can be applied to not only fictional heroes, but our lives as well. Think of any great leader or human being. Chances are they started out in the ordinary world too, just like Luke Skywalker or Shrek or Harry Potter, doing the same thing they usually do, with dreams and aspirations of heading off and making a difference. And as their lives progressed, they met a mentor, had an event that called them to leave their ordinary world and take a chance, and now they're remembered as heroes and great leaders. The hero's journey is as applicable to our lives as it is to the heroes we see on screen. We are just like them. We are all on the hero's journey, whether we realize it or not, and we all have the ability to do something great. Now the real question is, will you stay comfortable in the ordinary world, or will you cross the threshold and become a hero?